Welcome to another edition of All Octaves with me, Val Kleinhans, where we chat with artists and fans who love music. It's the podcast all about music. We obsess over it. Today, someone else who loves a lot of music is Keybeaux. He is a musician, rapper, songwriter, and producer who wants to help you in your journey on creating. So we're going to chat a little bit about that today. What's up, Keybeaux? I'm glad you're here.
What's up, Val? Big honor. I'm a fan, and I'm excited to talk with you today.
Yeah. So of that list of rapping, writing, producing, what is your favorite position of the three? Because that's a lot.
I would say probably just playing the instrument. That's my favorite because you can never know too many chords, too many scales. So that's my favorite. Yeah, but what I'm probably best at is probably rapping.
I would say so. I was Googling and I was like, okay, but so I don't think I knew you played instruments too. What do you play?
Piano and guitar and ukulele. Yeah, so bass guitar, acoustic and electric, and ukulele, but primarily piano.
Oh, okay. What gravitated you toward learning that? Were you just interested in trying the different instruments, or did the rapping come first?
Well, rapping came first, but the inquiry to learn an instrument preceded it, but I just never got around to it. And when I had to learn how to make beats, making beats was required. You can only sample so much before you get bored of like chopping the sample, at least for me, you know? So I was like, I told my little brother, I said, I got to learn how to play because this is getting boring. So eventually, I learned a few chords. And then ironically, when quarantine happened, I had all the time in the world to like crank it up a notch. I played like 6 hours a day. And then all of a sudden I'm actually able to play and sing. And I'm like, oh, snap. So yeah. It was always a desire to learn, but I actually could play guitar before that. So it's weird. It was always out of necessity. It was because we needed a guitar player and so we couldn't find anybody. So I'd spend like weeks learning one little lick. And I'm like, well, now I play a little something. And then I kept trying to figure it out. All this in tandem with rapping. Rapping never stopped. So.
Oh, okay. So is this all just in connection with your live shows too? You're doing it for yourself, these instruments?
No, well, this is all in production in when I'm making songs.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I have the only time I've ever played my piano live is when I was doing it live on Instagram Live, but I've become more proficient, but I haven't performed like on stage, which will happen because I love it. I love the intimacy of being able to control an instrument, control your voice, connect with the audience. And being a rapper is not required to do that, but I was like, I'm not just that. I want to do it all. You know, I'm a huge fan of all the musicians who do it all. I mean, I'm talking about everybody from Lady Gaga, from Bob Dylan, from Aretha Franklin. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm sitting there like studying who was doing the playing and the singing. I'm like Marvin Gaye, Prince, all of them. It's just ridiculous. And I'm just like, if they could do it, I could do it too. You know what I'm saying? It's never too late.
Yeah, definitely a good piece of advice for anybody listening. When did the love of music take hold in the very beginning? Were you young?
Very young. I mean, everybody loves A, B, C. You know, we all love the rhythm, but then it goes to the next level where you get curiosity. You just like become curious. And the first time I remember, I was like 6 or 7. I was listening to "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson, and I was like, I took off my headphones. I was like, how is there so many Michael Jacksons on this song? There's only one Michael Jackson. I was like,
I get it.
What is happening? So I had to do some research and I was like, oh, so you record it and then you can record it again. I was like, how does all these people sound like Michael Jackson? It sounds so like, simple right now to adults, but as a kid, I was like, it doesn't make sense. And then I was like, oh, you can record and then record on top of that. So the inquiry, the seed of inquiry and then when I started to figure out why a certain chord made me emotional, like, oh, and you come to me on a summer break. I was like, why do I feel so in my feels as soon as the song comes on? So then you start to figure out what is the Rhodes? What is the Rhodes keyboard? Why is Stevie using the clarinet? Why, everything. You just can't stop figuring out why they chose that. Why did you not just use a beat maker and sample? No, this, that, this. So I just had a why. And before you know it, when you start getting answers, then you start to tinker with it. And then here you go.
Yeah, no, I totally relate because I had an MJ moment too. When I heard Beat It for the first time, that was honestly my first introduction to guitar, period. I
Oh,
was like,
interesting.
what is making this noise and who is making this noise? And then you start
Right,
to do a little investigation. It's like, oh, it's called a guitar. Eddie Van Halen's the guy doing it. This is
right.
his band. Van Halen sounds a lot like Aerosmith. If you like Van Halen, you'll
Uh-huh.
like Aerosmith. And then it just spirals from there. That was my initiation to it. I
Wow.
mean, that
So
imprints.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
imprints. My mom played both a lot around the house, and now I live in Minnesota, so we can't escape Prince.
I
He's
saw
everywhere.
that. Yeah, I visited Minnesota and went to Paisley Park in 2019.
Mm,
That's if I had to choose one artist, my favorite, and I didn't get into him until I was 21. Unfortunately, because my parents did not play it. They didn't play hip hop. They didn't play none of that. So
mm.
all of my transition, I had to explore it, and yeah, I was just like, it's crazy. But I love it. I know you don't live there now, but I know that's where you're from, right?
No, I see total opposite, which is so funny. But I do live in Minnesota now, but I grew
Oh,
up in
okay.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, I got
So
it backwards. Okay, I was looking
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing. Okay, okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah. But
cool.
close. So we had. I mean, I know you did read it Black and Yellow. Wiz is our boy. We love him. We still love
Yes.
him.
Oh
You did
yeah.
your own version of that. I mean, I grew up on him, Mac Miller,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and just different jazz artists like George Benson from that area too.
Mm,
Mother was obsessed with Whitney, Tony
mm,
Braxton, all of it, lots
yeah.
everywhere. So I was
Can't get
definitely
enough.
exposed. No, yeah, and I think
Can't get
that's
enough.
so key whenever, especially when you're trying to learn about other cultures,
Yeah.
introducing people to music from all races, all
Yeah.
walks of life is
Yeah.
so important. I'm so glad that I grew up in a house that was like that because not everybody does. I would have been
Mm-mm.
bored if I was listening to just white only music. I'm like, no,
Right.
I'm glad. I'm glad that I
Yeah.
saw different types, Selena and Whitney Houston, and it just
Yeah.
everybody from everywhere.
Yeah. It's powerful. I always think of what the Beatles were saying, what John Lennon and what McCartney was saying when they were like, if y'all don't desegregate this, I'm talking in the 50s in the 60s, if y'all don't
Mm-hmm.
desegregate this room, we're not gonna play. There's like, okay, whatever you want. So literally music
That easy.
supersedes any kind of notion that we think of superiority or what. It doesn't matter, and it'll be like that till the end of time. Even when we're full of our nonsense as humans, music doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can play,
Mm-hmm.
you can have old black guy, old white guy, and you play one song, and it's like just a small town girl. They're like, all right, this is all right.
Everybody's up there. Everybody's up in that
It's the
room.
glue. It's a unifier, and it's beautiful. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
It
thing.
is. You're also the one that introduced me to Fiverr because I honestly hadn't heard of it before I saw
Yeah.
you talking about it. Other
Hmm.
artists use this too. For anybody that doesn't know what it is, it's sort of like an artist for hire site. Tell me your Fiverr story because you've been doing the thing on this. How did you become known like the Fiverr rapper?
I know it's crazy. I'm very grateful. I found out about Fiverr in 2011. I was trying to get some artwork done for a mixtape, and I just went on there. I said, "Oh, $5 for a cover." Got it. I didn't think twice. Then I came
Mm,
back because I was like, "Man, I got another mixtape," and I was like, "Wait, people are rapping on here." This was 5 years later, so it's like it's changed. And I
mm,
was like, "People are rapping on here." I was like, if I were to do this, I'd kill it. I was like, "But I got a job, so I ain't got time for this." And
mm.
so then my job let me go. And then I was like, let me just dip my toe in, see what's up. And then the
Mhm.
orders I got was so strange to me then. It was like, I want you to write a rap about how it's okay to listen to Eminem. It was like a kid. I was like, what is
Oh.
that? What? Why do I start? Why don't you just write a paper? Like, why would you want me to rap about rapping? I deleted the account. I said, this don't make no sense. I thought I was gonna rap some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, not this. And
Yeah.
then I got my job again, but then Christmas came around, or no. Then I was realizing like, let me try one more time for real. Like no pressure. And then I just had
Mm.
my account up and I made a little video like I'll rap for your song, it's kind of cheesy. And then I got an order and I was like, okay. Then a few weeks later I got another order. I said, okay. started to snowball, and I said raise my price up a little bit. And then Christmas time came around. I was like, okay, little Christmas money. And then my job for real let me go. I was late too much because I was always going home and recording songs. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I've been
why, you
there.
know what I'm
I've
saying?
been there.
You know what I'm talking about. So I was like, and I just proposed to my girlfriend like a week before they
Oh,
let me go. So I was like,
oh.
I know that we're the future's so bright, but I don't have a job. Do you think I should try this Fiverr thing for real? She was like, give it a shot, but then after like some time for real, get a job. And I just went hard. I was like, let me make this video, that video, let me boost this. I'm gonna give everything into it. And if it doesn't work, oh well. And then it was serendipitous because it was around the time in 2017 when YouTubers were looking for content, and they were like, they found Fiverr, and it was like, let me hire this guy to make a rap about me, and I happen to be a person available, and then all of a sudden I'm going viral on stuff, and people are like, what is Fiverr? So that's what catapulted my exposure and my gigs. It took off from that. I was at the right place at the right time. There's so many parables and sayings about when opportunity meets preparation, what I'm saying? When opportunity meets preparation, it's all of that. All of that was what happened. I was just at the right time. So I was grateful, but I had never stopped making my own songs. It wasn't like I was sitting around.
Right.
I've been writing consistently. I've had a song a day challenge every now and then, and I've never stopped writing because I've always felt like something in me saying I'm gonna make it. I don't know. Like I'm already past 30 and I know that I'm not supposed to make it as a rapper, but I don't care. I was very delusional to some, but I was like, there's something in my guts telling me don't stop, man. I'm grateful something happened. So
Yeah, and the hustle starts there. Over 7,000 projects later, you're doing
right.
that, like you said, in addition to your own music. Where do you find the time?
You just what's crazy? That it's there's not enough time in the day, but there's plenty of time because we can binge watch a TV show, we can binge TikTok, we can there's time. It's just like if you got I was about to say hunk of burning love, but you got a hungering desire. That's Elvis. I'm not trying to quote Elvis on that point, but if you got a hunger to just
Right.
like it's kind of like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but you just artist is to be an artist in any capacity. I consider you an artist as well. When you're making something, you're an artist. It's not saying like I need to make this because I need. No, it's because it's like you see it. It's like this needs to exist. You see it, and then other people like see what? It's like this has to exist. I'm gonna make it. I'm just gonna make it. Y'all don't see it. That's what an artist is. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, you just feel it in your gut, and you're just gonna put it out there, and that's all it is. I just there's a lot of songs that I like to hear. There's a lot of flows and rap I like to hear. There's the stuff I like to see. So I'm just gonna make it, and if nobody likes it, oh well, I made it for me. And if they do like it, come on the party. This is we can all enjoy it. So
Period. That's it. That's all that
yeah,
matters. It just
yeah,
it's incredible to see. I definitely relate to that because I wanted to do this because I thought that there was like podcasts like this one and the other ones that I have. I just not only do I like to do them, but I thought there was something missing, particularly when it
right,
came to like mental health talk or, a place for local musicians is the word that I'll use, someone like you or anywhere, someone that's
mhm.
not a Metallica or a Britney Spears.
Right, right, right.
Like there needs to be room for them too. And that's
Yes,
what I was hoping that this would do. And that's my intention. And it sounds like prioritizing your time is the key. If you
yeah,
prioritize your time and put that as your focus, you will accomplish what you want to do. I do this during my free time, and that's why I have episodes consistently. You got the
amazing.
focus with your music. I mean, it's that simple. It's what do you want to do? What life do you want to create? I'm a full
Yeah,
believer in that.
it's the truth, and salute to you for taking that because I see the hustle and I love it. I'm a big fan of just following that and to have a platform. All the guests that you've had, I've been binging. It's really cool, and I'm grateful to be on here. It's really exciting.
Of course.
Yeah,
Well, so we're not immune. I mean, because it's the internet, we're not immune to
yeah,
haters either. How do you
for
deal with
sure.
them?
It's at first it was very confusing because I'm like, hey, can we talk about this, guys? Maybe there's another opinion instead of saying I suck, or maybe, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying. But then I was like, there's two there's two types of mindsets. There's those that create and do and live it, and those that just have an opinion on it and they never put anything out. There's just, because of the people who comment or say things that are ugly, let them make something and they'll realize like, ooh, I don't want to be seen. It's very bold to put yourself out there as you are and do. It's a very strong thing, because what you're saying is, I exist and I want to show you this. And ridicule has to come, because ridicule is easy to do online. It's so easy. You can be in anonymity, and to be bold and be yourself. What you're gonna do is you're gonna draw the people that rock with you, that know what you're doing, and that's all that matters. Like, haters have to come, because that's the only power they have, is through disparaging other people that they see exist. I mean, I knew, but when I did an interview with CNBC, I was like, I already could plan certain I was like, I already know what's gonna happen, but this has, I could already. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, y'all are not creative. Like, y'all not even creative, and it's cool. Like, I get it. But I saw this in high school. I'm gonna just give you a quick example. When in high school, I'm 5'9", so to play basketball, that's considered short to make it in the NBA. NBA was the goal. I'm going somewhere with the story. It's not, trust me, it's gonna be worse.
No, I got it. I got you.
Because I told the story, I think it's good with it. Anyway, I'm 5'9", and so there was something called jump soles, where you put on your shoes and you do these plyometric exercises, and it sends fast twitch fibers to your legs, and you're able to jump higher. So I did it all summer. People looking at me crazy. I'm in the rain, and then when I come back in 10th grade, they're like, "What you got, Mike?" Because I couldn't dunk. I could barely grab the rim. I came back, I was dunking, and it was like, "Oh it was like, what happened?" And then somebody made a rumor. I found out a year later. They said, "Yeah, he takes some pills to jump higher." And I was like,
my.
"You see what I'm saying?" I was like, "Pills? What pills? Why ain't y'all tell me about the pills? They got pills? I would have taken it." No, I'm just kidding.
I would have if it were that easy.
Yeah, but
instead of all the hours I put in.
Exactly. If there was a shortcut, you could have just put me on it. But somebody made it up, and I was like, okay, this was a perfect example. Like, don't it's if he's doing that, you can't do that. So that was a small example, and the more that you're present and seen, the more people know you exist. It just gets bigger and bigger, and you have to realize that they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what they're saying. They don't even realize that they're only hurting themselves. So putting a light on them when you're already shining, doing your thing, it's a waste of your illumination. That's not forever. Like, as we're alive in our energy, our mitochondria, it burns out. So, like, don't give it to them. Let them figure out their life, and you do your thing. Because the moment you say, "Hey, I'm here," you're already shining in so many ways.
Facts. A literal waste of energy, which we do not have time for.
No, we don't. We on the clock, and you got to shine, and you got to do what you came here to do, and let your light be continuously illuminating for those that come after you. Like, it's a limited time, and that's not morbid to say. It's just realize, like, find your joys, and just go hard and love it, and jam the music you like, eat the food you like, talk to the people you love, cut certain people off, and do what you got to do, because you're here for a quick second.
For real. I love that you think that music has no rules too. I love the concept of that. Why do you think it's important that music stays so freeform?
It has to, because I enjoy seeing the shifts in music whenever the structure of how to make a hit song happens. They're like chorus, verse, chorus, and I see it, and then the public starts to see it, and then the underground is always cooking up something that's gonna throw everybody. I love seeing it. So when they say hip hop's dead, I'm like, I love it. We need to change it. When they was getting over, I just like music history, when they was talking about the death of disco, and because it was just I wasn't there, but it appeared that it was just overpowering, and people was like, yeah, it's not real. So then they cooked up something else, and you got funk coming in a different way. I just love seeing when the rules are broken, to where the people that had the format, they don't know how to keep up. They're like, what's going on? How do I keep up? They don't know, and that's why you always got to be curious. Because if you're comfortable in your groove, stay curious, because the next thing's about to hit you on your head. And that's kind of what happened. Was kind of what happened with a lot of things now. Like, people are fearful of certain computer generated things, and I'm just like, that's just another tool. We're gonna use it, we're gonna freak it, people gonna be scared, but I ain't gonna be scared. We gonna figure it out as we go. Because
Yeah. On the digital point, like the rest of our life, quite literally, is surrounding digital mediums. Like we're
right.
plugged into everything. Why wouldn't we think that music would follow that? Like, everybody bitching at Ronnie Radke because he didn't do a show because he didn't have his laptop or whatever. There was some moment like that. And I'm sitting there going, okay, but if that's what the man does and he can't give you the show that you're expecting and the show that you're paying for,
right,
then I would rather him say, it's a wrap. Let me come
Thank
back
you.
when I'm better prepared.
Thank you.
That's just me.
Right. I'm with you on that. All you gotta do is read history. The one-man band, the guy who would be playing the drums with the and then doing all that. Like, we ain't gotta do that. We got a laptop. Like, this is where we at now. Do you want him to come out like that? You'd be like, what the hell am I looking at? Yeah, you got to keep progressing. You got to keep progressing. And he knows what's up. And he's done it. He's already done it. So I feel you. Yeah. But again, not everybody's going to feel that way. And that's okay. But I mean, just look at time. If you look at the careers of all the people who've had the most successful long careers, for instance, Aretha Franklin, I like studying her a lot because she kept keeping up. When in the 50s, she was doing a lot of jazz. And in the 60s, she kept up with a lot of the different sounds. Obviously, that was her big break in the 60s. And in the 70s, she kept up with the disco. Even though she did gospel at the beginning of the 70s, she was like, nah, I can't be sitting up in this mood forever. We got to keep up. And in the 80s, she took on with the drums.
Yeah.
Freeway. Yeah, in the 90s, she hooked up with Lauryn Hill. And so she was a smart, she kept up with the times. And so I'm like, look at all the people that last. You got to keep up. Don't be fearful. Yeah.
No,
that's
Freeway. Yeah, Freeway
right.
and Chain of Fools and Respect, they don't sound alike, and that is intentional. And we still regard her as a queen to this day.
Exactly. And it's beautiful to understand, like, she knew. And that's how music's always been. We just been kind of like not paying attention. MJ too, MJ stayed with Teddy Riley in the 90s and kept going with Dark Child in the 2000s. Like, everybody who knows, you can't stay with the same thing. You can't.
Yeah.
And that's why hip hop, in my opinion, has been able to last the test of time beyond what it was considered a fad when it in its inception, because it changes so much. And now there's a golden era. Apparently in the 90s, they say it's a golden era, and I was there. I was there. So I respect if somebody considers it golden, but I'm like, I guess you got to call something golden because it was close to when it was like they were figuring out how to be refined. But golden is today. Golden is that's my opinion. I still make music. I feel like Nas just dropped a bunch of new albums. Like, golden is today. I don't consider the past better or worse. It's just something we did before.
Yeah, it just was what it was at that time.
Correct.
And so I've noticed that you're not afraid to offer constructive criticism to other artists either. So how do you make sure that the criticism you offer is constructive and not subjective and just like random?
Like, what you mean? Like, criticism to other artists?
Like, when you'll comment on, like, hey, I like this, or I don't know about this, or we'll try this next time. This is how to do this. Just helping other people out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Of course, that's to their discretion, because art is so hard to like give my opinion like I'm the master of it, because I'm always learning. I learned that from Fiverr. Fiverr taught me a lot. Whenever I got on Fiverr, my way of thinking was probably like most people who are not in tune with like what's going on now, because I'm already, once you hit 30, you got to actively stay in the mix. If you're not going to clubs and hanging with people, it's harder. So when somebody's like, yo, I want a song like Little Uzi Vert, all my friends are dead, I said, whoa, what are you saying? Is this a chant? Where did the name of the artist where did the name of the artist end and the name of the song begin? I didn't know who he was. Obviously I know him now, but and then he played the song. He's like, all my friends are dead, push me to the end. And I was like, it was 2016. I was like, that goes kind of hard. I guess I get the rhythm. So I had to go and study XXXTentacion, and I was like, oh, I like it. we're in emo phase of rap. We're just in the off branch of Lil Wayne. And I was like, I like it, you know? And I was there for the early 2000s emo music. So I was there. I was in tune, you know what I'm saying? So, but I have a connection to it, because if I didn't listen to any of that, I'd be like, this sucks. I don't get it. You know, what is wrong with y'all? This ain't the golden era. And I ain't trying to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as I know how the line connects, I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay, we're doing that. Okay, I get it. So I only offer it whenever they ask me. I usually ask where you're trying to go with it, because if they're asking opinion on a song we're working on collectively, or I'm writing, I'm like, where do you want to go? What are you trying to say? You got to answer that. You got to know, as a writer, you got to know what you're trying to say. If you don't know, then we're just putting words together. We're just putting words together, and that means nothing. So, yeah.
I would imagine that skill helps you as a producer too. If you happen to be collaborating with anybody else while you're on a producer level.
Oh, I love doing that. I love producing where I'm just producing the music, or a lot of times I produce it and write the song, which I love. I'm just like, I like being the ghost and then seeing them record it, and then just watching them perform it. That was I co-wrote a whole R&B album for an artist of mine named Makari. And that was my first time a couple of years ago, and it felt so good seeing her performing with a live band, stuff that I was making in the studio. I was like, this is cool. And I was like, y'all don't even know I rap too, but you know, go on. Yeah, it was just cool.
Did you sit back and say, this is me? That's me?
Yeah, I did. I mean, because I knew it, but it's like I don't have those opportunities. But I've done it more since then. But it feels so good, because it's just like y'all bobbing y'all head to something I was putting on the computer. But y'all do know I rap too, right? Oh, okay. Yeah. You got to check the ego. They didn't come here for that. So yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I totally get that. Would that be maybe the best piece of advice you would offer for any artist looking to get their music out there, is to check their ego? Or what advice would you offer?
There's a multitude of things. You have to have you have to have a emotional intelligence. By that I mean, take the time to assess, you know, that deals with, you know, mental health and all that, and kind of assess, you know, who you are. And that can take years, and really understand what I'm trying to say. It might be too vague, but the reason why I say it's important to have an ego in check is because you'll get a lot of no's from a lot of people. You'll get a lot of things where they say, well, I don't really like that. And then you don't even know what's real. You take it offensively, because it's like, I love it. You don't know. And it's like, hold on now. Maybe you are still right. But again, you got to just look at it as people can never give you objective anything. Nothing is objective. So sometimes the stuff that I really liked, somebody in my camp didn't like, and I'm like, but I really like, and I put it out, and I'm like, oh, it didn't connect. I see what they were trying to say. And then sometimes I'm like, nah, I like this, and maybe somebody in my camp is like disconnected from what's going on. I'm like, nah, this is gonna hit, and I put it out, and it hits. So it just depends. With, you know, just take the time to really, instead of reacting to an opinion about your stuff, just take a minute and be like, let me breathe. Let me just
process it first.
Process it. And that takes practice, because it really is hard. I've done over 7,000 projects on Fiverr. That doesn't include my songs I've done since I've been 15. And to hear people say it needs a revision over and over, and now I start to figure out what people want, and it's cool, because now I see a commonality in what they want, at least from me or from rap, and it's kind of interesting. They may not even know it, but I see it. I see where the line crosses. Like when they ask me to do a song where it's like, I want something for my lotion or cologne. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna do something smooth, and I do smooth, and they're like, too slow. And I'm like, I was like, oh, you want fast? I was like, is it fast rapping? Because it's impressive. So I'm like, you know, that's what they feel.
Or do they want Snoop? They want a Snoop flow, maybe.
Well, even that, no, they just want it fast. I don't know. So I do it fast, and then they're like, yeah, I don't know. It's so, yeah, but it's interesting. But the thing is, with doing work for so many people all over the world, you learn sociology, you learn psychology, and then you get to learn about yourself. You get to learn, like, hey, I don't know everything. The stuff that they're telling me that I think I know. Yeah, it's cool.
What are you learning as far as what the people want when it comes to hip hop in the experience that you've had? What are some of the commonalities you were seeing and what they were asking for?
one of the biggest things maybe people may or may not be surprised with is the amount of people that want old school sounding music. They don't want new school stuff, which in my head I'm like, that look, if y'all want it, that's cool. It's not a right or wrong, but it's just interesting, because I'm just like, that's just what they want. It's like a comfort that they're familiar with. Hip hop does change a lot, so I get why people may be hesitant, and especially if they're not into hip hop, if they like listen to it when they were younger and now they've gone in the corporate world, they don't have a connection to me rapping like Yeet or like Future. They don't get it. They don't even understand, because it's very repetitive, and they don't like it. So they like what they liked, and also with a catalog of old stuff, they just feel in their head, it's not a diss. In their head, they feel like, well, everybody likes this. This is a hit. And I'm like, the younger kids don't like this. You'll say this is old. It's not a diss, but if your demographic is people your age, then yes, I get it. So that's why I had to learn business. It's like what I like doesn't really matter. It depends on who is this for. So that's why I always ask, what are you trying to say, and who is it for? Because the one thing people always say, I want something that everybody will like. And I said, we can't even all agree on the same ice cream. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing. No such thing. It doesn't exist.
Especially today. We can't agree on nothing today.
Nothing. Nothing. The sky's blue. Actually,
no, purple.
The dress is gold and
oh yeah, remember? I remember that.
Actually,
that,
Yanny or Yanny. Actually, yeah. So yeah, there's no such thing. So what you want to do is find a truth.
Too much time on your hands. You really do.
Yeah, it's too much time. It's too much time. Find a truth that resonates, because I won't try to rap like, yo, back in the day, because I'm like, that don't feel right to me. To somebody else it does. So I find a truth in what rhythmically works for me, and I find out what you're trying to say and how you want to go, and then I find a commonality. That's pretty much how I work with people. And I'm always willing to say, nah, that doesn't work. It's all good. So
yeah, I think Kendrick Lamar is a good example of somebody that blends that new school flow, but with an older school sound.
True.
He to me seems to kind of like find a balance between both, and that's
he does.
I like to gravitate toward it. Well, I like to gravitate toward him because of what he has to say. To me, he's one of the few people that has something to say in hip hop anymore. Just my opinion.
No, your opinion is valid. Everyone's opinion is valid, and I like it. And the thing about having an opinion is sometimes it won't click when it drops, but it may be down the line. It's very crazy like that. If you're looking for your praise when you put it out, doesn't always come. Sometimes they need to live a little, and then they go back. Like his album, what is it? What is it? I hate that I can't remember it. It's in front of the president's house. My brother's gonna be so mad at me. He's like, "How did you forget the?" My mind goes blank. But yeah, it was that album that came out in 2016. It didn't get the love and praise, and now people are going back like, "Oh, yeah, this was good."
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. So what's next for you? What can we look forward to coming from you?
Well, I'm gonna be putting more of my own personal music out. I would have done more so before. It's just it's difficult trying to juggle everything, running the business, and then living life is hard. But I just making my own music is so enjoyable, and I'll plan on performing. I love performing, but just putting out my own music and sharing more of the process of that. Because I've consumed so much media, but I don't put out enough of my own, and that's what I love doing. Just making sounds, putting them together, and just saying what I feel. That's what I plan on doing. Dropping more music.
Yeah, your own original work. I love to see it. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for BSing about music a little bit today. I will absolutely check out whatever is to come. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Glad to talk with you, Val.